Hello my beautiful people, my name is Willow's Duality and welcome to another Supreme Commander cast. Before we get into player introductions, I'd like to say something. I appreciate the dev team. I am sure I've told people on the dev team thank you for the work they do, and here is an official one. Thank you to the dev team. You all do amazing work. This game wouldn't be around without you. Fuck the shit people say on the internet cause they are idiot.
Alright, so into player introductions, we have up here in the top left, Team 1. Let's slow this down because of that bit at the beginning. We have a purple UEF going first land by the name of Immortal D. And then we can move on to the south with the gray Cybran going first land by the name of Reprise. And then up to the east, or I guess just to the east of him, we have the purple UEF going first land. His name is Doc the Slot. Doc the Slot? Doc the Slot. And then we have a blue UEF going over here to the east. He's blue and his name is Dodge Rod. And then last but not least for Team 1, we have a red Aeon Best faction going first land by the name of Matador. And then down to the south, we have ourselves a white Seraphim going first land by the name of Moose Max. Wonder if he's related to Battle Moose in any way. And then we have a Cyan Cybran going first land. His name is Super Weasel, and also the Seraphim went first air. I'm an idiot. Seraphim dude, Moose Max went first air. And then E Unit, a green Aeon going first land. Name E Unit, of course. And working on that second land factory. As we have a yellow Cybran going first land by the name of Magic. And last but not least for the entire game, we have a dark green Seraphim going first land by the name of Zombie Toaster. And with introductions out of the way, we can go back to normal speed. So yes, in the comments, in the chat, we have all of this going on. Reprise to observers, I'm here, thanks. Whoa, okay, so I guess there was some kind of connection issue. And we have, of course, Wednesday, my dudes. He is co-casting with me today, so I hope you all will enjoy this. Aeon Best Faction. See, he is on point with the casting stuff today. He is doing his job admirably. Somebody go down in the comments, give him some love. As we move into the 2.5 minute mark with very little going on. Very weird opener to this one. Hope you all enjoyed it. I'm sure that was edited in some way. Down here we have a fire beetle of all things, along with a Cybran Agricultural Center. Man, some of these models look so good. Like, this looks amazing. I love this little thing, and it's barely used in the game. And then up to this side, do we have the exact same setup? Yes, we do. So we have some civilian structures looking at the map. Otherwise, we of course have 18,000 reclaim on the map. In the center, we have a volcano. Of course, I don't think this volcano is active, but maybe it is. Maybe it fires out little chunks of death and destruction. And a lot of reclaim right next to it. There's a lot of reclaim up towards the corners. Not much in the base. Very, very much so there to encourage expansion, and expansion quickly. And yeah, maybe there is. Maybe this volcano does fire. Adaptive next to me. Do you fire little volcano balls out of your volcano face? Because it's starting to look like you do, because you do have the effects that it leaves. The 158 mass piles on these particular rocks that come out of the volcano. We'll just have to keep our eye on it, see if anything happens there. As over here to the east, we have a T1 bomber out from Matador doing its thing. Looks as though it's going to be able to pick up a kill or two. Already up to 2 kills, already doing itself well. Immortal D loading a transport, and the bomber gets nothing on its first pass, as it picks up a whole bunch more on sequential passes, up to 6 kills already. And this is going to go very well. Dodges some interceptors, but does indeed go down in the end. That was a super valuable bomber. In general, is going to do very well for his team. As now we're sitting here looking at Zombie Toaster, and he's just very, very light on build power. He needs more engineers because he's down to 2, maybe 3 on the entire map. That's just not enough for you. Immortal D was loading up a transport. Let's go ahead and check on that. Wednesday gonna help me notice everything this cast, because he's not also having to like talk at the same time. He's having to type, but he's also a better player and such. Drops 1 engineer. Just 1 engineer. Super Weasel apparently has good land production. Man, wait, did I introduce Super Weasel? I did. Did I say his name wrong? Did I say his name at all? I don't remember saying his name. If I didn't, well, at least I went over his comms so I can have Super Weasel put over it, and I can maybe, like, use that text-to-speech thing to put in Super Weasel instead of whatever the hell I said. Oh, Super Weasel does have some good stuff going on. Sensors on the way now for E-Unit. Excellent, cheap upgrade in Wednesday's opinion, and I have to be slated to agree with that. It's a very good upgrade. You can technically get this upgrade without building any structures and not stall, I believe. I think that you can get this upgrade from the beginning of the game without stalling. Let's go ahead and just check on that number. I might be slightly wrong. You might have to build a tiny bit. 5,000 mass at 100 mass a second, 350 or 5,000 power at 100 power per second. That's the only thing that might be a little bit dicey. You make 20 power a second. Yeah, no, you could definitely get sensors without building literally any structures on the map. You could spawn and get sensors, and you probably wouldn't stall. That is a very interesting situation, and I do enjoy that very much so. As T2 now on the way for E-Unit. Up here to the north, we have a little bit of scrimmaging going on between the artillery and tanks of Matador, proving their superiority, getting some free kills onto the tanks of Zombie Toaster. We also have Dodge Rod showing up with a T1 PD. And that is going to push back this aggression coming out from the dark green Seraphim. And Magic is going to show up for his shot at things. But unfortunately, his units are going to meet the exact same fate of being outranged, outdamaged, outgunned, and dead on sight. And that's going to be very unfortunate up there on that northeastern side for Team 2. Whereas Team 1 looking pretty on all of the flanks. They're not doing too horribly anywhere. They do seem to be controlling, I would say, slightly more territory right now. And it does look like Super Weasel might be putting a change to that, as he is showing up here on Reprise's side of the map, and he's like, show me what you got, because I got a lot of units and a lot of anger to take out on you and your gray units. As there is a ton going on around the map. Achieving early air victory. Ooh, apparently Moose Max had a good air fight, but it doesn't seem as though that happened. He is apparently behind on mass production. Wow, Wednesday just catching everything. Man, Wednesday, you should cast. This is actually quite fun. Dodge Rod starting T2, and T2 air HQs on the way for both of the air players, or finished, I should say, for both of the air players. And of course, as far as economy production goes, we have a large fight going on, which is going to basically say fuck the economy and the stuff. Super Weasel making some progress down here on the southwest corner. It's gonna be a hard time over here for Reprise. As far as economies go, Immortal D is rocking it out with his cock out with 31 mass a second, now 33. Making a lot of mass. Magic also on a lot of mass. E-Unit doing very well for himself. Matador also doing well. Super Weasel and Reprise sitting as middle of the pack, and everybody else is very low on mass production. Zombie Toaster and Moose Mac at the bottom of the pack, and that is going to be a problem for Team 1. Or for Team 2, I would imagine. They are keeping up overall on economy. But they are, I mean, I guess they're slightly behind, but they're going to need to be careful, as here in the middle, Doc the Slot is currently getting pincered between the forces of Super Weasel and Super Weasel, because he has managed to fight on two different flanks of his opponent by himself, really putting on a stunning performance here in the early game, having himself a grand time. As things are going a little bit south now for Doc the Slot. I don't think he's going to die to this attack, but he is in a bit of danger. He's going to be forced back. He's going to lose a lot of territory. He was trying to hold on to this kind of central area, but it's not going particularly well for him. T1 Bomber out now for Moose Max, trying to get some damage done, just dropping some bombs on some of these units. And the volcano does erupt. Ooh, very cool. Very nice. Volcano make big mass piles. Doc Slot is now falling back as I am being cringy as fuck. And it might be a bit of a dangerous situation. He's starting to lose a lot of HP. He may be going down. Now would be a prevalent time to check. Is it full share? No, it's share until death. So Doc the Slot will lose a lot for his team if he goes down. And Doc the Slot still running away, has some reinforcements showing up over here from Reprise to try and save his stubby little UEF legs. But the Aeon are too strong, and the reinforcements coming out from E-Unit are making this look like a done deal. Doc the Slot is in a precarious situation, an existential threat to his life in the form of Aurora's Mantis, Zooey's, or not Zooey's, Fervors and other things. Now with the comm of Super Weasel showing up, this could get very dicey indeed. We could see either side lose a comm, technically speaking, if enough reinforcements show up for the side of Team 1. Doc the Slot is going to be falling back even further, as two comms are going to be in this area for Team 1 very soon, and Super Weasel seems to be very cognizant of that fact. Does this fire beetle explode if you get too close to it? Wouldn't be surprised if it does. And overall, here on the eastern side, it's looking even more dangerous for Team 1. Team 1 looked like they were doing well economically. They looked like they were doing well in the expansion, but they just don't have the unit production. As over here on the east, the team is just starting to push forward into Dodge Rod's position. Dodge Rod has a couple of PD, but that's going to be difficult to deal with all of this push and all of this pressure coming out from Team 2. Maybe it will be able to. If the PD go down, Dodge Rod's in a very difficult position. The PD being focused down, they're going to lose HP rapidly. HP really not going to matter. A repair order given out on one of them, but it's just going to go down. And that massive, oh my, that's going to be a very dangerous position. Gets a rank of vet. Going to lose this forward position. I think Dodge Rod will be able to walk away from this just like his ally before him. But it's going very dangerously. Reprise now getting shot at by a T2 gunship. There are now some swift winds along with some conservators out from the beautiful Aeon player Matador to show up and save Reprise from his early possible demise. And Super Weasel's got all of his units, they've kind of dissipated out. He has a lot more showing up from the back lines. And here in the center, the push out from the combined forces of Zombie Toast and Magic are here. Also, I just realized this is a Subpar Commander, isn't it? I didn't do my Subpar Commander intro. Ah, darn. Well, you know, maybe I can change that here in the... No, we won't change it. It'll be fine, everybody. As to the east, the PD number is growing once again, and it seems as though the attack has petered out on both flanks for Team 2. Although this has given them much needed map control, given them a little bit more territory to work with. Let's see what our co-caster Wednesday has to say. Another meteor shower threatening the squishy T1 land all about. Yes, indeed, I was going to mention that, but it was just too much going on. The north, the seas, its first engagement. Dodge Rod's base combined with Matador's forces holding well against what is now mostly AA. Useless, unless Moose Max Volthu has anything to say about it. It is only attack from Team 2 Windows, and Doc the Slot gets away. Yep. He's right on point. He's doing pretty well for himself. And while Moose Max may have air control right now, he doesn't have a single T2 Max, putting him frighteningly far behind Immortal D, which is very true. Immortal D up to 63 mass a second. We have a kill! Coming out E-Unit. A volley of missiles that I missed. Wednesday distracted me. It was on screen. I didn't miss it. If you were reading the chat, you saw it. It lands. And that's going to be our first ejection. Dodge Rod losing his comm to a volley of missiles coming out from from E-Unit. Over here. Where was that volley of missiles? Right here. Wow, that was really out of the way. I keep forgetting Turtle Creep is the meta. What? That's not the meta, Dodge Rod. Dodge Rod, you're the highest rated person here, and you don't, trust me, you don't, the meta is not turtle creeping. As over here to the west, Super Weasel and Reprise locked in hot, sexy combat. Unfortunately for Super Weasel, he doesn't have a gun, and Reprise does. So Reprise had a distinct advantage. Also, this line of triads really making it difficult to push forward. We now have another Volthu coming out from Moose Max. Going to be able to maybe take down a T2 mass extractor, or even this HQ, or this hydrocarbon. Why did I say HQ? But not quite able to. Moose Max really focusing on this early aggression with the air, but not particularly interested in ecoing up, which is very interesting to me. As now over here on this northeastern flank, it's just Matador against the world, and he's gonna have struggles. There's still gonna be a lot of units bearing down on this position. We now have T2 units coming out from the base of Magic. And there are some gunships now showing up for Immortal D to try and hold this off. Immortal D already up to T3 air. Would not be surprised to see some kind of strategic bombering going on very soon. Over here on the western side, Reprise and Duck the Slot doing well for themselves. Bottom team will certainly lose an air engagement against those lovely Aeon Swift Winds. They already have lost multiple against the Swifties coming out from Matador, who is also kind of stepping his toes into the air game. Doesn't even have T2 land at the moment. A lot of reclaim in this base that needs to be scooped up very quickly and rebuilt, preferably by Team 1, Team 2, in a bit of dire straits though, as it seems economically. Oh wait, no, they're ahead economically. I was reading. Why is Team 2 on top? They're just doing really well actually. Team 1 in dire straits. They're just being pushed on multiple fronts. And right now it just seems like Team 2 is in a insurmountable position. Their lead is enormous. Almost over 100 mass a second ahead. They have the unit advantage even. They're just in a very strong position right now. And now it's going very poorly for Team 1. Wednesday pointing out that building up multiple missiles for extra snipes is a common mistake. I feel that this is because people don't use build missile, they use auto produce missile. He's just built these. He's not going for another snipe. It's just built up 6. Maybe later on it'll be very useful as my voice cracks because I'm prepubescent. And if Super Weasel, or not Super Weasel, is if Reprise or Doc the Slot ever decide to sit still for just a little bit too long and are scouted, that's just an easy kill waiting to happen. As we still don't see any TMD over here on this flank. In fact, very little TMD on the map in general right now. Those tactical missile launchers could be very dangerous, although not in range to hit too much of value. Over here to the northeast, a lot of T1 units have been wasted up here. I think that Team 2 should kind of cut their losses with the T1 aggression, just kind of expand out, grab all of these mass extractors, and set themselves up for an economic victory by being the first team to get into that experimental spam phase of the game. Usually the team that gets their first wins. Moose Max finally gets around to beginning T2 Maxes, but Immortal D is already starting a T3. which is very true, and he's even doing it properly with the assistance. He's finished one T3, and he's doing the next one. He has them all upgrading, and he's just using these engineers to build it, and his economy should be pretty decent here. Yeah, he's not stalling too hard. Could even possibly afford to just unpause the one he's upgrading at any given time, and would not do too poorly for himself there. Mortal D doing very well for himself this game. Reprise now making his ACU very sniperable, which is true. Reprise just kind of sitting out over here saying, "What you got? You wanna snipe me? Do it." The question though remains: does E-Unit even know where the comm is? No, he doesn't. He has a lot of scouts. He could figure it out pretty easily. But overall, he's gonna be in a position of no knowledge. You know what? You remember those ads with the guy with the Lamborghini, but he likes the bookshelf? Knowledge is what you need in FAF. And right now, E-Unit very lacking on the intelligence department. I'm not saying he's unintelligent. I'm just saying he doesn't know where the enemy is. See? Wednesday has all of the intelligence, though. Trust me. He has more intelligence than me most of the time. As wisely falls back, missed opportunity. Yep. Alright. The map goes quiet. A good time to eco, and Super Weasel is especially capable of doing that, looking at how many mexes he holds. Yeah, he does hold quite a few. What's the number on that? Let's help him out a little bit. Let's help out Wednesday a little bit. How many mexes does the man have? He has 9 T1 mexes and 3 T2 mexes, and he is sitting on relatively low economy for his team. But if he stops the production of T1 units, if he stops the production of units for a little bit and just goes full on eco, which it does seem like he's doing now, he's reclaiming some of these early factories, he could be sitting very, very pretty indeed, and really just set himself up to be the strongest economic player in the game very quickly. He has the access to the most mass extractors. I really like this radar position over here for Team 2. This radar, it doesn't necessarily catch everything because it's such a large map and everything, but it is very nice. Does give them a lot of periphery vision. A ton of specters in the air right now, and Team 1 just has a huge air advantage. We could see some danger going on towards Zombie Toaster, although he has 3 flaks in the area and he's underneath a shield. He should be just fine. Of course, the shield not turned on currently because he doesn't have the power to run it, getting up a T2 power as we speak. Perhaps the power stall is to blame. Magic is quite well off. Yeah, surprisingly, E-Unit has more mass. Yeah, Magic is doing well for himself. He was in a mass stall until just very recently, and he has a T3 max. I don't think E-Unit necessarily has one yet. No, he does. Both of these players playing very well. E-Unit also in a power stall right now. Most of Team 1 doing better on power, but Team 2 just in power stalls constantly, apparently. As a bunch of Spectres come up here, starting to kill off all of this area to the northeast. As the map is still quiet. Loads of mass for Team 1, bottom team to grab. Amazingly, land for both teams remains mostly T1. Yeah, the only exception to that going to be that over here in the south, we have a lot of rhinos and T2 unit production now being forced out from Super Weasel. We have a bit of T2 units now also coming out from Reprise, but overall, both sides don't really have that much teched up land. The thing I like over here, though, is that it's rhinos being produced by Super Weasel. So whenever these hoplites come in, as we know they will, head first as they charge in, they will do very well. And my lord, this is a man. Somebody has OCD, and you know what? It's beautiful. Straight lines are his thing, okay? Just don't fuck with the straight lines and he'll be happy. Viper is now trying to get some damage done, but failing. Overall, these Spectres over here, they're making me a bit anxious, but then again, I don't know really what they could snipe. Monkey Lord now queued up here in the middle for Magic. Alright, T3 Spy Plane flies over for a scout. That is going to be very, very useful, as that scout's going to give a lot of intel, and it's also going to point out that this comm is actually vulnerable to a snipe if you can get rid of that shield. Unit. Maybe he forgot that he has that snipe as a capable option, but a ton of gunships now conglomerating down here to the southwest. This could be a very dangerous situation now with broadswords, stingers, and specters all about. They're coming in towards the main base. The ASF, though, the screen not doing very well for itself, not protecting the gunships. Instead, the screen is just kind of sitting here. The broadswords going to be going in on their own, although 3 broadswords is more than enough to kill a comm. Oh, it's also probably enough to kill the air grid at this point, and it is starting to look very, very dire down here in the base of Team 2, as Super Weasel, a player who's played very well so far, is going to have to start running away. His engineer's blocking him from running away, and these broadswords coming in, the health is going to start falling off of him like meat off the bone of a well-cooked chicken wing. Can you tell that I'm hungry? As Super Weasel taking an absolute beating from these broadswords. Will he be able to get underneath that shield in time? I don't think so. I think he's gonna die, and he does. Oh no, disaster strikes for Team 2, and now this area, which has been held by Super Weasel, and all of this army up here from Super Weasel just gonna go away in a matter of seconds. And now this army out from Reprise just really is uncontestable. The hoplites are going to come in and they're going to destroy all of this. They're going to destroy it easily because they don't really need, they have the splash damage. They don't really need to worry about their HP quite as much. They're going to be worse than Rhinos would for just throwing it straight in, but it seems as though Reprise is doing himself really well with the micro and just slowly whittling down this force. And that's just going to leave a huge open flank down here in the southwest. And there are now some AA trying to be built up. Is that going to be able to deal with this broadsword? There's one left, and it does go down. His low economy will be his last downfall. Team 2, they have fallen from grace. They were in such a strong position, but they weren't able to gain any more territory. They weren't able to be aggressive anymore. And now this southwestern side has so many units built up by Reprise. The man has a lot of stuff. And you know what I like to say around here? More shit counters less shit. And right now, in the shit department, he's got a lot to throw at the wall to see if it sticks. If you catch my drift. He's in a very strong position. Although he's walking over here towards the volcano, this could be a critical mistake. He's going to lose some units to the volcano fire. In fact, he's going to lose a not insignificant portion of units. Like, sure, maybe it's not insignificant compared to what his opponent has, but that feels bad. And there is a ton of reclaim here. 37,000 reclaim. Even if we zoom in just a little bit closer to the base, 17,000 reclaim right here. Team 1, if they realize attack orders with engineers exists, will be in a very pretty position, as Team 2 still somehow ahead economically. They have more mass per second despite losing Super Weasel. E-Unit and Magic doing very, very well on the economy front. T3 Air now on the way for Magic. A GC on the way for E-Unit, although that will build relatively slowly. He's going to get a few more engineers out, probably to assist with the GC. Magic has a spider finished up here on the northern side. I swear that sometimes these notifications don't pop up for building the experimentals, or either that or it's just I'm so distracted. You all would think that those notifications make things a lot easier, but it doesn't. You just don't notice it. You get in a groove and you're not paying attention. Plenty of reclaim in the middle. Wednesday, you're behind me, man. You were staying ahead of me so well. GC on the way, some flak. Have you even noticed the Monkey Lord? Have you even noticed it? Huh? No, he hasn't. Oh, but Magic has beat us. Yeah, Wednesday. It's not as easy as it looks. Although you're typing, and all I have to do is move my fleshy lips around to make things happen. And Matador has made the critical mistake of being where he stands. He's wrong place, wrong time, and now this is gonna be the wrong player to be, because right now Matador is gonna be ejected from the game in just a matter of seconds. There is no chance he survives this. He is simply 100%, 1000% dead on arrival of this Monkey Lord, and he does have T3 units. He was doing a good job up on this side, but the broadswords are gonna have to try and clean up this Monkey Lord, and this base is gonna have to be built back up by Immortal D, as he was one of the critical players over here for Team 1. Team 1 was relying on him for so very much. Can I please? Okay, there we go. It's sorted properly. Team 1 now in dire straits. It's Immortal D versus the entirety of Team 2. Reprise is doing well for himself, but Immortal D is currently the only player with any semblance of an economy on his team. And with the Monkey Lord going down to the broadswords, it's gonna be okay for now. He's gonna be able to hold out. Reprise is gonna show up with his overwhelming force of units. He's gonna be able to really help close up the gap, but I think it's on Immortal D to re-expand in this area and start getting himself set up. Doc the Slot is just, he's happy to be here, but he's not really a threat at the moment, as it were. T3 Air really needs to still be dealt with, though, for Team 2. They don't really have any answer to these broadswords other than building flak. I mean, that is a decent answer, but whenever you also are up against people building a bunch of land, it's not going to work very well. We have Percivals and Demolishers out on the field now for Immortal D, who is just doing a little bit of everything for his team. He even has a nuke launcher, and it's 30% loaded. Does Team 2 have any anti-nuke, any nuke defense? I'm not seeing any. And that is a Galactic Colossus that's no longer being built over here in the northern side. The Zombie Toaster still just chilling. I'm surprised that he doesn't have more mass income at the moment, as he's been relatively unmolested up here on the northeastern side. He hasn't really had to spend money on anything else. I wonder if I'm gonna get banned off YouTube for saying unmolested, but like that would be a proper term for this. He's been left he's not been bothered very much, and we're dying down into a bit of a slow portion, it seems. Neither side really willing to commit to anything, so we're just gonna speed it up a tiny bit, as we don't want to be too boring here on Willowcast. We do have some T3 Air now showing up for Moose Max, and we're about to have, sure, a decent amount of ASF start getting built up down here for Magic. Quantum Gateway now finished up for the unit. Or not. But the apecking? What's that? What are you trying to say? Magic reads a situation well and spams flak, but is firmly... The Ape King is firmly... Damn it! Stop typing, everybody! In territory of top team, and the Slot, good fellow, is on a reclaim mission or not. Yeah, Doc the Slot, not really on a reclaim mission. He is just, he's cliff building triads. You have a nuke, anti-nuke race. Immortal D, unsurprisingly, winning. I mean, he built the nuke much, much earlier than his opposition, up to nearly 90% on that nuke completing. And then down here to the southeast, do we have an anti-nuke? And if we do, where is it? It's right here. It's being assisted very heavily, but it's being assisted by E unit, who I believe, not in a mass stall, but he's nearing like 50%. This is going to get very dangerous very quickly for Team 2. This nuke almost assuredly, if it's launched on completion, will win the game, I would assume. As... yeah, this should just land. Maybe it'll go for Moose Max, though. If it does, then there's still a chance for Team 2. As Moose Max is one of the, still, the lowest economy player on Team 2. He's not really contributed too much economically. And his team can probably do just as well with the T3 Air themselves after he's take over this area. They'll probably rebuild it with a bunch of T3 mexes very quickly. The anti-nuke is about 50% complete. The nuke is 100% done, and it's launching, and it's going right here at the most critical spot. Magic and E-Unit walk away, and I think they're going to get away. And now that I think about it, this is a bad nuke position. Sure, it kills the anti-nuke. That's gonna suck. But you just have to build another one. Yeah, no, if he just gives up another anti-nuke like right here, his team is fine. That anti-nuke, sure, it goes down. Sure, you lose a little T3 production. You lose the T3 HQ, maybe. Yeah, you lose the T3 HQ over here for Magic, but you don't lose a lot of economy. Magic is still going to be sitting at an economy that rivals Immortal D. That nuke position was arguably one of the best nukes that Team 2 could have received that was still a damaging nuke. Another patron going to be started up over here very quickly for E-Unit, and as long as he assists it, he should be okay. I don't know if the assistance on this nuke is going to continue. It's already up to 30%. Man, that is a bit brutal. Although the anti-nuke loads faster by default. T3 air achieved by both Magic and no, Magic has no T3 production left. He lost both HQs. Oh, that actually really hurt Magic. Maybe I was speaking a little bit out my ass there. Although he's going to have T3 land here on the front very soon. He's got a lot of HQs. Every building was an HQ, it looked like. And this anti-nuke going to be loaded very quickly. E-Unit probably going to need some assistance. Magic, I would be surprised if he's able to spend his mass. Now is the time to start sending it to E-Unit. If you are in a position like this, send it to the player who you think can spend it. As a stealth generator now goes online. Nuke rushing doesn't seem like the best play here for top team. All that eco is better invested in experimentals, I think. A devastating hit, but both nuke defenses taken out, leaving bottom team vulnerable to another nuke in a short time. I don't think they're going to be that vulnerable, though. He's gonna go for a second nuke launcher, but overall, this anti-nuke is gonna be loaded well before the nuke of Immortal D is loaded. And if you build up a few more anti-nukes, you have multiple players working on them. Your 2 anti-nukes still beats 2 nuke launchers. Now Immortal D has a match in eco from Magic, but unfortunately Magic does not have the build power to spend his economy, and he's now in a horrid power stall. Needs to address that momentarily. Like, he needs to be able to deal with that. I don't think he can afford an SMD, not without his T3 power anymore. Honestly, could use some help out from one of his teammates. Somebody just build him a T3 Pigeon really quickly. Another anti-nuke now being built up by Moose Max, although he is not on a very strong economy. And Immortal D really putting the team on his shoulders. Of course, Reprise not doing poorly for himself, but he's trying to win this with everything he's got. He's got 2 nuke launchers. Maybe if he goes for a bit more of that standoff technology the UEF is capable of, maybe a Novax or 2 to really help nail in the point, start taking down the anti-nukes. He could make something happen. Or just even target the power grid, since Team 2 has had struggles with power this entire time. A lot of energy being sent over to Immortal D, who's desperately in need of power, apparently. And it might be nice if he just turned off all the mass fabs, although I think they should just turn off automatically now. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a moment to look at reclaim numbers. We're gonna speed it up once again. There's really not much going on. A chicken now on the way for Zombie Toaster. Looking at reclaim numbers, Immortal D leading the pack at 52,000, Magic at 30,000, 23,000 for Moose Max, and after that, it's really just not impressive. Whenever there is 72,000 reclaim on the map, you're really expecting more players to have higher reclaim numbers. As over here to the southeast, I think this was just a scout wave. Yeah, it's just a scout wave. Nothing really critical going on here. Very scary group of broadswords now forming over here. I would be worried if I was somebody like Zombie Toaster right now. 3 flak and 4 Sams maybe are enough. But he's starting to get to that point where it's like, ooh, that is scary. As we creep in towards the 40-minute mark. Still no idea who's going to come out on top here. The anti-nuke is loaded, so that's just going to be shot down. That is going to be a very pitiful inquiry into whether that anti-nuke is loaded or not, and it's going to come up with very much so a sad result for the northern team. Man, this nuke really makes this hill almost invisible. It doesn't look like a hill anymore, does it? Just looks like normal terrain. Ah, man, that is trippy. As a second anti-nuke is being worked on. The GC is about to finish. This GC has been building for a solid 20 minutes. And Immortal D starts up a third nuke launcher. He's really committed to the strategy. This overambitious nuke will be denied. A Fat Boy would have been much more threatening. Landing a nuke on the undead, on our undead bread burning friend would have been a good play. Undead bread burning friend? Oh, Zombie Toaster. Stop being clever, Wednesday. That's my job. I'm so distracted by Wednesday this cast. I saw this replay and it was just so funny to me that he did this. I wonder whether the Band of NGs is moving to reclaim. The broadswords are back. Zombie Toaster in a bit of a dangerous position still, I feel. Seeing the Sams, yeah. Why don't you just nuke that base? Much cleaner. Does he have a nuke loaded? He does indeed have a nuke currently loaded, and despite all of the nukening happening, Zombie Toaster still just not bothering with throwing. Oh, well, here we go. Zombie Toaster gonna be nuked. Is this nuke enough of a prediction? Another nuke launched. Where's this one going? It's going to the middle of this base. This is over ambitious, I would believe. Yeah, that's gonna be blocked. This nuke lands, kills off Zombie Toaster. And that is going to be a horrid situation now for Team 2. They're gonna lose all of this up here. Magic's gonna have to rebuild there. And overall, E-Unit and Magics are in a strong position, but they're losing teammates left and right. Moose Max also sitting on a very strong air play right now. All 3 players in T3 air. Lots of T3 air coming out from Moose Max and from E-Unit. Overall economies, let's check on the chart. 350 for Immortal, 328 for E-Unit, Magic at 293, and everybody else below 200 mass a second. And right now, as I said earlier, it's Immortal D versus Team 2. And he's gone for the multi-nuke faceted strategy. He has one tool in his toolkit. It's a hammer, and he is going to be hammer timing it up here in the northern side. But it may not be enough, as a Monkey Lord now pushing through the middle. Duck the slot. In danger. The broadsword's going to come in. Is there going to be an air response coming out from Team 2? I don't know, but that Monkey Lord evaporates faster than water on a boiling stove. A boiling stove. If the stove is boiling, then the water sure as hell is evaporating quickly. I don't know why this stove is boiling. Is this like a MC Dali melting clocks, melting stoves? Who knows? Alright. Strat bombers up here to the north going to be shooting at some Percivals. Wait, does a bomber shoot? Do you shoot bombs or do you... I guess you bomb bombs. Bombers bombing over here. As the strat bomber is going to come in, they're probably not going to really drop on anything of value. Yeah, they're going to hit shields. Although a nice little probing attack and a nice little mass donation over towards Immortal D, who, in conjunction with Reprise, there's now a Megalith on the field. There's all of this going on. Strategic launch now detected. Where is that nuke going? That nuke is being launched here at this middle fire base. Is anti-nuke not quite loaded? Another launch going towards the main base of E-Unit, and it seems as though Immortal D and Reprise are just going to win this large push up here to the north. There's just nothing in the area to stop this. Maybe if the GC is rerouted down, but that needs to happen a minute ago because the GC is not going to get there in time. This is a dangerous position now for Team 2. Team 2 may just capitulate here at the last little bit of the game. An emissary on the way, but this force needs an answer, and the answer cannot be apathy, as Team 2 is in a dangerous position. Bo Burnham once said, apathy is a tragedy and boredom is a crime. Well, the tragedy of apathy is now forming itself to be known right here, as a lot of units are coming in, and the mass extractor is going to start going down. This is just the precursor to the real attack here. These units are not nearly as threatening as what is about to follow. All of these Percivals, all of these T3 units coming in, gonna be dangerous. The Percivals coming in. Soon after the Percivals, there will be a wave of bricks. If the Percivals get any damage done, it will be critical. If they can kill off maybe these anti-nukes that are plaguing the efforts out from Immortal D, that'll be big. Reprise really just playing a blinder of a game. I was kind of shitting on him earlier. I mean, not really. I was just saying that he wasn't as important as Immortal D, which it's hard to be whenever Immortal D is doing so much work. But he's fighting on multiple flanks and winning. Where's the GC? Where'd the GC go? Did the GC walk all the way back and then walk all the way forward again? Oh no! Oh no, the GC has not gotten involved in any of these land fights, and that's going to be critically horrible for Team 2 and for E-Unit. These units are now pushing in. One of the SMDs is down. Unfortunately, a large group of Volthus is going to stop this aggression in its tracks. The broadswords could theoretically just come in and kill the anti-nukes themselves. That is an immense amount of broadswords, although, never mind, that's an immense amount of ASF. 26 broadswords not going to fare very well. And we need to kill the anti. Unfortunately, though, all he's going to find is a large mass donation he's given to the other side. Here in the middle, that's a Duke. An interesting one for sure. A very protected one. That's a lot of Ravagers and Demolishers, and just in general, a very safe position. Reprise seems to be a very big fan of T3 land HQs. He's secure in the fact that these factories will always be producing T3 units no matter what he does. He's also a fan of SAMs. It seems not the worst idea. Yeah, I think the SAMs are a good call here. Monkey Lord now on the way for Reprise. This attack down here to the southeast is petering out, but maybe, just maybe, it'll be enough. If it stays out of range of these PD, it could kill off the anti-nuke. Nope. Strategic launch detected. That's 2 nukes. Are both anti-nukes loaded? Yes, this will be stopped, but it's starting to get a little bit overwhelming. I think E unit's probably been in some mass stalls, or maybe he hasn't, because Magic's just, he's sitting on such a strong economy, but he can't spend it. It's very sad for him. As these Titans show up on the front line, gonna keep going down. The Volthu's doing quite well for themselves. And the anti-nukes didn't have a slip up. They all fired the correct amount of missiles. They didn't overfire, thankfully, for Team 2. And that anti-nuke goes down. Another anti-nuke may go down in the near future. This megalith is losing health faster than a... I don't know what loses something quickly. Then a crypto bro loses money. And the emissary is complete. It's now starting to pelt down on the base of Immortal D. Is that shield going to finish in time? It does. But this could be a very dangerous situation. We have Dukes on the way. We have the emissary already complete firing. Hasn't managed to pick up any major damage yet. Not even killed one mass worth of anything. But I'm sure that'll be soon to change. It'll eventually break through one of these shielded positions and just deal some real damage down onto Team 1. And let's go ahead and just speed this up a little bit. Yet again, we have multiple GCs over here on this western side. We have a Monkey Lord, but overall, the reclaim game is going to be very important here. Let's go ahead and check on reclaim numbers. Immortal D is still in the lead at 74,000. Another nuke has been launched. The anti probably going to want some assistance very soon. It's very close to dying, in fact, which is interesting. This nuke does get shot down. We didn't really see it, but it did. And the emissary continues to fire. The double GC force, I'm very surprised he's not being more aggressive with this. Still has all of these tactical missile launchers and could theoretically snipe Doc the Slot because he still doesn't have anti or TMD. A nuke has now been launched down towards this base. Does he have another anti-nuke in stow? He does. And here comes a Tsar on the front line, the most beautiful of units, and it's gonna be going for Doc the Slot. And Doc the Slot is most likely going to be dead here. It's gonna kill off these power generators very quickly, and that's gonna kill off the comm. Doc the Slot has died to the power generator explosion caused by the Tsar's massive death beam. And that is going to be very... Can these projectiles hit the Tsar? Like, if it sits over the, let's see. How simulated are these projectiles? I guess the world will never know. I was wondering if it flew over the volcano, could it just get killed by the volcano's spray? As we meander towards the hour mark, it does seem as though with the loss of Doc the Slot, Team 1 is in a very poor position now. They're behind economically and not by an insignificant margin. 300 plus mass a second behind their opposition. Did any of the nuke launchers go down? No, he still has 3 of them built up. Also, I just realized anti-nukes can hold 7, but nuke launchers can only hold 5. Is that also just to give the anti-nuke an advantage? Also, there's no anti-nukes currently loaded, at least for our green Aeon player. Does he have a nuke loaded? He does. Launching it would be kind of critical. And you know what? I think we're just gonna speed it up for a little bit. Oh, the Tsar gonna come in. And the E unit coming in with the major siege. The donut destruction inbound and prevalently interested in killing off this Duke, I would imagine. All of the SAM sites from both of these players on the Northern team open up. The shield on the Tsar still holding, at least momentarily. Shield goes down, which means its time on this Earth is going to be very, very limited. Although it may not even be on Earth. We like to imagine it might be, but it's not necessarily there. And it lands, killing off at least one of the nuke launchers, maybe two. And oh no, it's a disaster. Team 1 almost assuredly gone now. Immortal D down to 2000 HP. And this is unfortunately going to be the end of Team 1, with the GCs now marching in. Immortal D Control Kang, reprise probably soon to follow. I'd like to say thank you to the Patreons and the channel members for making this channel all that more successful. Thank you to everybody who watched. You all are beautiful. This is Willow, signing off.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this,